Hello, welcome to the extended teams show here on the Blue Broad YouTube channel. It's Thursday, the 18th of July, 2024. We are going to hang out as we always do on a Thursday, whether we've got full final teams or extended teams. Tonight, we've got extended teams. So what that means is at about 6:20, we're going to get an extended side with an extended bench. We're going to have more questions to answer and ask by the time that comes out. And then tomorrow, I'm going to go live again about 4 o'clock, nice and early. And then we'll get the final teams at 5 p.m. But I've got a few things planned for us before 6:20. I've got a press conference or not a press conference, it's an interview with Nick Newman that I want to listen to with you together because I think it was fascinating. I sort of listened to a minute of it, read some of the quotes, and I thought perfect for the show. Got some games I want to play. I've also got a brand new video that's coming out at 7 p.m. that I want to touch on. And yeah, then we just generally chat amongst ourselves and, see how it is. You know what? I've got to say, I love the team show. I love this format since we've rearranged it a little bit. I like just hanging out. I do enjoy it. I think we should do it a bit more, but I really do enjoy just hanging out. This gives the best opportunity to have the back and forth chat with those of you. You had a good one yesterday. We did reflections with Ari, and I thought the discussion that we had in the chat just kind of reminded me why I enjoy going live and why I enjoy having the live chat with me, because it just allows you to continue to read something new and get a new perspective. So anyway, who's here? Aiden's here. Hello, Kate. Hello, Matt. Gorkan. Before I move on, I think I've forgotten to introduce a very important part of this show, and that is that this team show and all the team shows are brought to you by Mr. Cabinets. So with that, we've got Mighty Blue 7, Chills, Danny, J Baggers, straight into it. One ruck, Walsh wing, please. We're going to touch on this. I actually think it's Chera potentially to the wing. I've been influenced. If you haven't watched Pommy's video on this, I highly recommend that you do. It breaks down the combinations in our midfield with ruck, with two, with one, and it breaks down exactly the numbers. He actually goes through a process rather than looking at the result. He goes through a process of our combinations, and he's basically come up with why Chera, could be Walsh as well, should be experimented with on the wing. So if you haven't watched it, highly recommend it. And up GM, up the Blues, up the Motlop in. Yeah. Absolutely. Lana, Kate, hello. Lou, Danny, James, Debbie, please let me see. Marchie and Cunners both in. Cunners, interesting. I don't know if we're going to get much clear on who would come in tonight. I think they're just going to give us a big list to choose from, unless they name players on the field, which would definitely give us more of a perspective. Braden, Jay, hello Lana, SG, John. SEN was trying to bait Newman about tackling, but he was way too professional. You know what? Let's do it. I'm keen because I stopped myself from listening to the whole thing. I thought I'd wait. All right. Hang on a minute. It is audio, and it is with, it's on the Carlton website, but it is an interview with Sam McClure, 3AW, and Nick Newman. So let's do it.
Carlton's best pickups in the last decade when you talk about value is Nick Newman. He's been a star since he joined from the Swans to the Navy Blue, and he's been good enough to join us live. Welcome to you, Nick.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Lee. Appreciate having me on.
So, Nick, we've been talking about the Toby Bedford incident. We've been talking.
How much do you think that they actually want to be on these interviews? I'm always curious about that.
Talking about tackling. Josh Dunkley today said he's sort of worried now going into a tackle. He's not sure what he can and cannot do. Do you feel the same?
Oh, me personally, I can only speak from my personal experience. I'm not too worried about tackling. I think
Okay.
for me, tackling's pretty instinctive, and I think growing up and playing the game for as long as I have, I think naturally I'll still be going in to tackle wherever I think is necessary. But clearly there's some adjustments we've probably got to make as players to protect the head of the player you're tackling, and I guess there's a duty of care on us, and it's all fairly new to us as well. So there's going to be a period of adjustment, and it's probably what we're seeing at the moment in my eyes.
Is your technique changing?
Oh, look, not necessarily my technique. I think it's probably, I guess for the argument's technique, and it's probably the following through with the tackle. I think, you can't really follow through too much or with too much force nowadays. I think that's the only sort of little thing I'm trying to just be careful of, because, clearly you don't want to be getting yourself rubbed out.
And every tackle's slightly different, Nick. Okay, but so when you're about to tackle, what are you trying to do? That's sort of almost the 1, 2, 3 things you're trying to achieve in the tackle, just to be specific in your technique or the objective.
Yeah, I think I like to think I'm pretty instinctive, and I don't put too much thought when I'm coming into a tackle. But we do practice a little bit of training and about trying to stay low and pin an arm, just because it's obviously harder to dispose of that. So there are a couple of things that we speak about, but I think the main one is just making sure we're not slinging or following through with the tackle with too much force, because they seem to be ones that are getting guys in trouble at the moment.
Can I move on to just the last couple of weeks? I mean, just had a few bad quarters, if you want to be specific. But in terms of what happened the last match or two, and the old RFI's room for improvement, what have you come up with, you guys?
For us, it's been pretty clear. I don't think we've defended well enough. We've still kicked some decent scores, and we still feel like we've moved the ball okay at times. But I think ultimately we sort of haven't screwed up and defended well enough for long enough. And as you've seen, teams have been able to kick goals a little bit too easily. And as a defender, that stings a little bit. So we've reviewed our defence a lot the last couple of weeks, and it's something we're pretty keen to get back and sort of chase pretty hard.
I guess that's a generalisation. Nick, we ask you specifics. What's that specifically mean that you got to do better?
Well, I mean, we've been scored from stoppage a little bit too much, especially on the weekend. Bulldogs, to their credit, were outstanding in terms of their balance around the stoppage and being able to sort of get the ball from the inside to the out, and we probably lost a little bit of shape around the ball. And that's an area that we want to get after in terms of being able to actually defend stoppages. And then behind the ball, we probably lost a couple of contests that we don't sort of feel we usually lose. And they were able to kick a score, and I thought, to their credit, they played as well as any team we've probably played against, probably bar the Sydney game.
I was at the game live, and
that's an interesting comment. He felt like they've played as well as any team they've played against this year, apart from Sydney.
It seemed to me that Alex Giancotta was going to come off the forward line and try and take Bonapelli, which he did. And that meant Patrick Cripps might have been the spare, but Bailey Dale ended up being almost a midfielder hanging around the middle of the ground who became a really attacking halfback. Was not allowing that kind of situation to eventuate part of the learnings?
A little bit, yeah. I think Alex Giancotta's been doing a really good job, and I thought he was doing a decent job on the bond in the first half. And then, I think the coaches sort of felt like Bailey Dale was having a fair influence off that high half back role. So they changed that to Alex. And, I'm not sure what it sort of looks like going forward. Sinks has been able to do a role on a number of different guys, whether it's an intercepting.
Oh, we've just lost Nick for a second. Might be a bad phone line. Is he back?
Sorry.
You're right, Nick. Yeah, you're fine. Finish your answer.
Sorry, yeah. So Sinks he's been doing a good job, but I think a little bit of learning for us is if he is up in the midfield, how do we sort of still limit those attacking half backs that seem to be having a really big influence on games at the moment, and probably trying to limit that as a whole forward group rather than just a specific matchups because you can't tag everyone out on the field. So it is a little bit of a learning for us.
No one ever likes losing, Nick, but like
No.
it is inevitable. I mean, even the Swans have lost 2 of their last 3 or 2 of the last 4. Like, is there an element of it internally that it's okay? We've lost 2 in a row here, but you'd rather be losing 2 in a row right now than the week before finals. Like, there's room and time to turn it around and peak at the right time.
I think so. I think that's the approach we're taking anyway. I think, as you said, like no one wants to lose, and especially losing a couple in a row sort of hurt. And we felt like we were in a position to respond well after the Giants game, and we didn't quite get that right. But like Vossi's done an amazing job of being pretty measured around where we're at and the things we've got to chase and get after as a group. And like we feel really confident in the fact that when we play our brand of footy, where we can beat anyone in the comp, and we just probably haven't done that the last couple of weeks. And like you're going to lose games of footy, but as long as you can learn some things from it, and we felt like we did that against Sydney when we lost. We learned some really valuable lessons and saw some things that Sydney did that worked for them and taught us some lessons. So as long as we can sort of learn from it and look back on this time and say, we at least got something out of those losses, then we can sort of still view it as a positive at the end of the day.
And before you go, Nick, I nearly fell off my chair last night when I saw Mitch Cleary reporting with Sam Doherty that he could be coming back this year. He's aiming for a 26-week return after doing a knee. Like, this bloke is Superman almost, isn't he?
Look, he's amazing the way he attacks his rehab. Clearly, he's got a lot of boxes to tick, and I think they've gone pretty earlier. But like you see him moving around, and he's making some bloody good progress. And
it must be inspiring though for the group at the very least.
Oh, absolutely! Like, he's just an amazing person, and some of the stuff he's dealt with clearly, and the way he still sort of rocks up and attacks his rehab is, as you said, it's pretty inspiring. And I think, like as tough as it was doing 2 ACLs. Now going into his 30, he knows exactly what he's got to do. He's obviously gone through the process twice. So he's ticking a lot of boxes, and he's making some great progress. But clearly he's got a long way to go still.
Kids go free on Sunday.
There you go. That's interesting. There was a few generic questions and generic answers there, but there was something interesting in there which flagged something else in my mind. So he was talking about his tackling technique, and they kind of pushed him a little bit on it. And he said, "Nah, it's not going to change." Or, "Well, I guess it will change." Now, I don't know if you guys were watching the other night, but we were talking about, and we revealed last night, I should say, that Aaron Hamill was suspended for kneeing Dean Wallace in the 99 prelim. He was then, the club appealed. He got off. He played the 99 granny, whatever. Now, I went into the rabbit hole to find out more about that today, and I came up and I found the open mic episode with Aaron Hamill and Mike Sheehan. And I was looking for maybe a part of that video where they were talking about the incident, and they were fantastic. But before they were talking about the 99 incident, there was another incident. Aaron Hamill laid a awful tackle on, I think it was Jay Schultz, who at the time played for Richmond, knocked him out. It was bad. It was pretty bad. And he was asked about it. And so the open mic episode was in 2016, and Hamill said that, and this was back then. So he was reflecting on the game against St Kilda, which I think was early 2000s. So after his time at Carlton. So early 2000s, probably 2002 to 2004, sometime in between then. And he was saying it's just an old school thought. Back then we used to tackle, and the instruction was you tackle to hurt. And he said in 2016 that had I done it today, I would have been rubbed out for 4 to 6 weeks. Now that was 2016. And then I had a conversation this afternoon with Pommy, and we're talking about, those who used to play in the game who may now be part of the MRO, or generally the people who are advising the MRO if there's any. But if you come from an era and you played in an era of the AFL where you did tackle to hurt, are you not influenced when you're watching these tackles now? Like we'll touch on Charlie Cameron shortly. Like I think the difference now is they're not tackling to hurt. The head contact is incidental. I think the Sam Walsh Dangerfield one, I don't think Dangerfield intended to tackle Sam Walsh to hurt him, but as a result of his tackle, Sam Walsh's head hit the ground. Same with Bedford, same with Cameron. As a result of the tackle, the head hit the ground. What do you think about this, broadly speaking, about the new tackle? No, it's not a new tackle interpretation. I think it's just anytime there's a concussion, there's obviously a trigger for a suspension. Chicken wings belong on a chicken. Yeah, I think someone did say that Cameron won the appeal. Let me check it. Let's have a look. Charlie Cameron. He did. Oh, wow. Charlie Cameron's appeal has been successful after the tribunal made an error of law. I am fascinated to see what the ruling is. So we only just got the news minutes ago. When we have a statement, I will absolutely be reading that out because I think it'll be an important part moving forward. So, yeah. How do you guys get work done with the amount we call each other? Mate, it's 1 hour a day. We get plenty done. Hamill ended a player's career when he was at the Saints. Can we remember who? He ended a player's career? I didn't know that. They cannot suspend players for legal tackles. Okay. Accidents do happen and people get injured. That seems to have been forgotten. Cameron Bruce busted his shoulder, never the same. Yeah. They should be going by the current rule, same as the players. If the players have to change the way they play, then the tribunals need to change as well. Good point. It's a contact sport. I've always been of the mind with any contact sport that you want to hurt your opponent fairly. It's all part of the winning mentality. Yeah, I think somewhere along the line, we've lost the focus on intent and what was the intent? Because I think the old school way of playing was exactly how Aaron Hamill said it in 2016. You tackled to hurt. We're no longer doing that anymore. We're not like, how many times do you see a tackle from a player in the modern day game where you really look at it and you say, wow, he really tried to hurt him? I think I can remember Bryce Gibbs doing it to Robbie Gray potentially in 2017. Like that tackle, he meant to hurt Robbie Gray. I believe anyway. I thought there was an intention there. But you rarely see it these days. So, and I think it's because we've gone so far into the balance has swung so far out into the outcome of the tackle that we've lost our focus on the intention of the tackle. Basically, the AFL is asking players not to drive players into the ground anymore, but the way they are going about it is the most ridiculous process. So, Bugs, in your view, what is the right process? If this process is the ridiculous process, what is the right process? So Cameron clearly drove him into the ground even after the tackle player tried to take control, but lost that control in the very finish of the tackle. Cameron clearly drove him into the ground. Well, yeah, I definitely think he drove him in. Yeah, he did. He did drive him into the ground. He was out of balance, though. I want to see what the ruling was. The Giants are taking issue with what the AFL said Bedford could have done instead of tackling in the way that he did. So Bedford is fronting the AFL appeal board now. The Giants are arguing that Bedford's tackle was not careless within the meaning of the tribunal guidelines. They will also take issue with the grading of impact. So it's a busy night at the tribunal. It's a grey area. It's hard to slow down a player's momentum. Now, in regards to Dangerfield tackle, it was not intentional due to the momentum. The head contact rule fair, but it happens. yeah, it's almost like you're gonna have to tackle and stop bringing players to the ground because you just run the risk of them hitting their head or injuring them. And that is a fundamental part of the game, the way that we're taught as kids. And so the point we made a few weeks ago was any changes that you make which result in changes in the technique have to be taught at the lower levels. But if the fucking technique's changing every 6 months, how can we, filter that through to the lower levels? But the way I'm watching it now, it's like we have to stop taking the players to ground and just hold them and brace for them. So I don't know. Hey, Luca, good to have you here. Shane, MRO should be a three-person panel, one legal rep, one ex-player, no longer than 2 years retired, one AFL rep, have the majority rule on signings. I like this. I like the part where you said an ex-player no longer than 2 years retired because they are definitely in touch with the modern game. Big fan of that. Every tackle on Sam Walsh against the Cats in the first 10 minutes, they went out to slow him down. They need to be careful or we'll lose a tackle. I don't think we'll lose the tackle. I don't think we'll ever. I mean, you have to tackle. I also saw a bump last week, a great bump, which for whatever reason didn't get highlighted. It was Liam Ryan on a Brisbane player out on the wing over the boundary line. Really good bump. Got him like in his midriff and his sternum. It was perfect. It's all about money and the image. The AFL is a business. They want to keep potential lawsuits to a minimum. I don't believe it's as much about player welfare considering the inconsistent stances. Well, yeah, I mean, I just saw another player suing the AFL. It didn't get a lot of traction, but 7 days ago, former AFL player Brad Shepherd sues West Coast Eagles and AFL alleging medical negligence. Check this out. And I mean, you have to limit your liability. That's what you have to do. You can't be having bulk lawsuits. Retired AFL footballer Brad Shepherd is suing his former club, as well as the AFL, as well as 2 doctors over claims of medical negligence. The writ filed in the West Australian Supreme Court. Shepherd alleges injuries suffered during his career resulted from the negligence of the AFL and the Eagles. I want to see. In 2023, he told the ABC a concussion suffered against Fremantle in his final year shook me for 6 months. The first 2 months, I couldn't even get my heart rate over 100 without having head spins, and my concentration levels just weren't there. My ability to focus on anything, I was just constantly tired. Wow. Shepherd's writ follows a retirement this week of Collingwood's Josh Carmichael for medical reasons, while another Magpies player, Nathan Murphy, retired in April. Wow. Melbourne Premiership player Angus Brayshaw and Western Bulldogs player Aidan O'Driscoll also retired due to concussion. So I take your points, but the reality is we've got Shepherd, Murphy, Carmichael, O'Driscoll, and Brayshaw. Are there any more that have had to retire? There's 5 retirements. Sorry, 4 with Brad Shepherd. I want to know what the allegations are as to. I want to know what the allegations are as to why they were negligent and why he believes they were negligent. I can't see anything there. In that case, do you think that we should have a waiver? Should there be a waiver and an understanding that if you play this game, you have full understanding of the risks associated? It's such a slippery slope. Hey, Jonathan, watching from the tram on the way home. Johnny Holden, hit the like button. Yeah, hit the like button, please. If you're watching, it helps. Don't have to pay a cent. It definitely helps. So just hit that thumbs up button every time you come here, and it allows the channel to grow and do its thing. Thanks, Johnny. We have a 33-year-old with very limited football experience in making these decisions. How do you know that, Bugs? How do you know that? I think that comment shows that you have limited experience knowing exactly what that 33-year-old knows personally. Sorry, phone keyboard had a brain fart. It seems the only way you can hurt a player is in a marking contest. Moore's knee into Petrarca ended his season, but because it wasn't to the head, no one cared. That's an interesting point. So do you think in that case we should expand? We should expand the definition of if a player, because imagine we do that. If any action causes any injury. So if a tackle causes syndesmosis, if a knee causes a cracked rib and, spleen, I think the head is different because we now know of the trauma that it leads to afterwards, after they retire. See, Petrarca will come back and play. I mean, unless he doesn't, in which case we might have a different can of worms to open. But I think it's pretty clear why the head's different. 100%. Whatever should be used. How do we know whether players had concussion pre-footy? Good question. How do we know? How do we know? It's more a legal issue than a health issue the AFL talk about. Well, it's both. It's a legal issue because the AFL are now starting to see, legal action taken against them and against the league. So of course it's a legal issue, but it stems from a health issue. It also stems from the Senate report. I think we touched on this a few months ago. There was the Senate report around head trauma and the recommendations made to all the sports in Australia around head knocks and concussions. The AFL isn't at fault for concussions. I think they are. I think they have been, and that's why I think we're seeing the change. Richard, I think that when the medical doctors tell them they've got to retire, then they retire and they get some sort of compensation payout. Mighty hard. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm fairly confident that a waiver doesn't protect the AFL from negligence. She played footy and a legal degree, but not enough experience. That's not true. You're just wrong on that. I'm sorry to tell you. You're just wrong on that. It's a contact sport. Accidents are going to happen. The only way to stop it is to go make the game non-contact, and nobody wants that. Yeah, nobody wants that. Waivers generally aren't worth the paper they're written on, similar to warning signs. You can say I know nothing about it, which is somewhat true, but I'm happy to look at the evidence of the current season. Yeah, 5 players have retired because of concussion. So yeah, if you talk so confidently about something that you don't know, then sure as hell you get called out for it. That's the way it works. Players need to sign a waiver. They know full well what they're getting into. You want to play, you do so at your own risk. If not, go play tennis or water polo. Yeah, I think I'm here with you, John. There has to be some level of understanding. There has to be a mechanism to protect the head. But when I first saw the Bedford tackle, I thought that was just really unlucky. And maybe we're removing that as well. Maybe they're going to remove the whole pin the arms tackle from this game. Yeah. You should go back and read. Yeah, so this one you're referring to him driving him into the ground. Give this comp 5 years, won't be tackling at all. Mate, it'll be tag footy. You have to tap him on the shoulder and be pinned holding the ball. Wonder if they will ever go down the helmet route. Do you mean like mandatory helmets for everyone? That's an interesting question too. Slubbo, do you think this is all just a changing of the times? We're all becoming more educated and understanding as time evolves. Could the AFL have known about such an issue 20 years ago? I do think this is part of the times. I think there's a few elements to this question. I think We now know more than we ever have about what the knocks to the head do, and therefore we've had to clean up the knocks to the head wherever we can. I also think, doesn't this happen every year? So if we expand a little bit more with umpires, right? And umpiring and the state of umpiring, doesn't this happen every year in a different way? We start a season, the AFL come out and say we're focusing on this, this, and this. Rules, interpretations, tribunal matters, hearings come and go all year. We agree with none. We disagree with all of them. But then we get to finals footy and everything just settles down. That's how I experience footy. That's how I remember footy every year. That we go through the shitstorm, the cycle of just, having something to talk about, whether it's umpiring, whether it's the league, whether it's equalization, whether it's whatever's going on. And then we get to finals footy and the whistle just kind of goes away and it becomes like a real spectacle. Does anybody else feel that? Because I think that is how I watch it. Race car drivers know they might crash. That's the risk. That's the rush. It's the same as AFL, NRL, NFL. It's part of the attraction. The whole idea of tackling is to pin the arm so the ball carrier can't legally dispose of the ball. I think, as Bugs just mentioned, though, it's when that second action comes into it. So dragging to the ground, slinging to the ground. That is, I think, what's in question here. Alex, I don't think you can blame all that's happened this year on the current administration. Who's to know if they're having to carry out decisions made by those who've departed? Yeah. The clubs are worried and taking it very, very seriously. Absolutely. And why wouldn't you? How couldn't you? Last year was goal umpiring. Yep. Helmets don't work. Look what happened to Brayshaw. He wore a helmet throughout his career. Sadly, it didn't save his career. That's true. Bugs Bell, when I played, I constantly told the umps to pay head-high tackles. This is something I clearly understand. Players know the circumstance coming into the AFL. Zeta has just tweeted the reasons behind the Cameron decision. Thank you, Damien. I'm going to read through them. Oh, it's lengthy. Do you want me to read through them? I'm curious about it. I think it'll be a good exercise for us. So, the decision of the tribunal really revolved around the AFL tribunal guidelines. So, if you're just joining, we're talking about the Charlie Cameron suspension being, the appeal being, what's that? You know what? Maybe I can show it just like quickly. Like super quickly. So that was it. There. Hang on, there's another angle. Okay. The decision, it had particular emphasis on guidelines around rough conduct and sub-rule 3 of that guideline, which dealt with dangerous tackles and described rough conduct as being unreasonable in the circumstances. There were 4 factors which the guidelines recommend the tribunal to look at. One of the factors was whether or not the tackled player was left in a vulnerable position. And the second factor taken into account by the tribunal was whether Cameron had slung, driven, or rotated his opponent into the ground with excessive force. The tribunal made a finding that the conduct of Cameron was unreasonable. However, what the tribunal did not do was deal with the elements of the charge, which is set out in the laws of Australian football. In particular, what the tribunal did not deal with was Law 18.7, which is entitled Rough Conduct. The rule provides spirit and intention. Players should be protected from unreasonable conduct from an opposition player, which is likely to cause injury. We accept that the tribunal below found the conduct to be unreasonable, which is one element of the offence, but it completely failed to consider the second critical element of the offence, that is, whether the conduct was likely to cause injury. Absent that consideration and absent any reference to the law, we consider that the tribunal below fell into an error of law that had a material impact on its decision. Wow. unless and until the tribunal had material upon which it could make a finding that the conduct of Cameron was likely to cause injury, it could not find that Cameron had committed an offence. And in a sense, we were assisted by the video because we, of course, read the transcript and looked closely at the video. It couldn't be said by any member of this board that it leads us to the conclusion the conduct of Cameron was likely to cause injury. There's a bit more, but that's the crux of it. Gets the juices flowing, let me tell you. On a technicality, let the Brisbane Lions supporters complain about Cripps getting off on a technicality again. It's great. How good's karma? I stopped playing after being slung in a tackle. You personally stopped playing after being slung in a tackle? Yeah, fair. I didn't feel protected by the umpiring. Fair enough. Yeah, I was trying to piece it together. It's a complicated tackle, a lot going on. I agree with Cameron's incident getting off. The concussion is a footy incident, not a sling or dumb tackle. Yeah, the way I saw that as well, Duggan like sort of like turns and rotates, leaving Cameron in a really weird position because he's trying to bring him to ground, but Duggan's twisting his body and bringing Cameron with it. I don't understand. The tribunal may be more dumber than people that conduct the appeal. Do they even know the game? I'm sure they do. The AFL is stupid and lazy. I can do better with common sense. Brandon, you're hired. You're in. Let's get you in there, mate. Well, Bedford's going through his process right now. So, yeah. Are they saying Charlie's tackle didn't have a chance to cause injury? Didn't it cause injury? They're saying that based on the law, they could not have come to the conclusion that Charlie Cameron's conduct could have caused injury, which, it's really hard. It's really hard to explain. It's a technicality. The only way to appeal a decision in the administrative law in this country is the only way to appeal such a decision given by an administrative body, which our AFL tribunal is to argue that there was an error in the application of law. That's how Cripps got off, and that's how Charlie Cameron got off. So you don't go to the appeal after the tribunal hearing and try and argue the particulars again. So it's yeah. A lot of jargon. A lot of it doesn't make sense, but yeah. Paul Sebastiani, evening crew. Brody Kemp makes way from the team. Is this? I mean, he would not write that if he didn't know. Wow. The law is argued in grey areas, mate. Amen. Well, let's look at the Aaron Hamill suspension in 1999. Let's look at that, for example. What we did as a club is, so Aaron Hamill, he kneed Dean Wallace in the head. After Dean Wallace tackled him, he was suspended for 2 weeks. And basically, by his own admission, they went to the tribunal and they appealed. And they basically had a tactic to bore the tribunal to death. Hearing went for 3 hours and he got off. And so that's the beauty and the curse of the law. It's grey. It's grey. I mean, the laws are black and white and they're written in black and white, but the interpretation is grey. And that's the world. The world's grey. You find your way in this world by interpretation. And there are certain things that are clearly black and white and you can and can't do. But that's the way it goes. That's why you get a good lawyer. Anyway, now let's go back to footy. Let's go back to Carlton. I want to take a look at our team last week, and then I want to look at what you think we should do this week. So give me a minute, because I have my own thoughts, but I want to put them against your thoughts. Lineups. Okay. Got about 10 minutes until teams are named. So if you're watching Channel 7, I don't know if they'll talk about us because we're the Sunday game. Let me know. So this was us last week. Interesting to see. Cottrell was named on the wing on the Thursday, or the Thursday. But game day, back on the wing here. I did a preview with Marnie Cohen from the Further North podcast. She actually said herself, you guys should go in with 2 rucks, because I wanted to get an outsider's opinion. She's like, Sherry is just a beast, throws his body around, and is extremely physical. So I don't know where you guys sit on that. Is this one of those weeks where you play the 2 rucks? Keeping in mind, North also play a second ruck. What's his name? Bryn Teakle. So they play a secondary ruck who rests forward with Tristan Sherry. So there's that. Think from what we saw last week. I mean, how's Hewitt not getting named this week? How does Hewitt not play? After watching Pommy's video, I'm so convinced that Chera should go maybe out to the wing, maybe Walsh. Like, can you imagine this? Can you imagine? I mean, Ollie can go on the bench potentially, but can you imagine this was like Sam Walsh or Adam Chera? Then you put your ruck, whether it's Pitto or TDK, with, Hewitt in there. I think we're going to see a better balance. So there's that. And then there's Motlop. So even with waivers, you get an ex-player losing it, and it's linked with cognitive injury. Regardless of the waiver, it will come back and bankrupt the league. That's true. That's a very true point. Lawyers value winning an argument. My memory is terrible now. Well, you kind of argue the point, Bugs, but then you say that the people running the running the league don't know what they're doing. It's very interesting. Wiedering and Larky, best friends. They are besties. Hard selection. Let's give some predictions. What do you think it'll be? I think there'll be 2 changes. I mean, well, Paul's just said Brody Kemp's going to come out. Fuck. I thought Boyd might be the one to come out. I thought he let himself down a bit. So we know that Williams is coming out, and we know that based on what Paul Sebastiani said, we know that Kemp will come out. So very interesting team selection. A few eyebrows will be raised. Okay. Tom Dog.
Hey!
What up?
Sup, my G's?
Just, fighting the good fight, staying alive.
Fighting the good fight, eh? Onward, Christian soldiers.
Hey, I didn't watch team selection last night. What was the consensus? And now that you know that Kemp's going to be out, what do you think will happen?
I mean,
that
was a bit of a shock, but I mean, obviously it says that Voss isn't happy with certain things. And I mean, I suppose we always stress we want standards. So, I mean, obviously, Kemp's a bizarre one, isn't he? Because he always feels on the precipice of being dropped, doesn't he? He feels like he's always on that teetering edge. And so that's obviously something internally. You've got, I mean, regardless of what we think at the end of the day, Voss picks the team. So he's got some issues with him.
Well, I thought it would be Boyd. This week in particular, I thought, you know what? Got to keep Chincotta in the side. Maybe the balance is a little out in the midfield. Maybe put Chincotta back because he can play a real defensively focused job. Cowan's already doing that. That allows Newman and Sard and these guys to roam and be free. So if it's Kemp and Williams, is that just as simple as Kemp, Williams, Hewitt, Motlop, shuffle things around, play Chincotta down back, put Hewitt in the middle?
Probably. I mean, when Paolo came on and said Kemp's out, I had these horrible visions of Kennedy halfback flank, and because that's where they play Kemp in that intercept role.
Yeah.
Has Voss seen something? Because this isn't the first time Voss has flirted with Kennedy behind the ball. Do you know what I mean? So, is that something he's seen? There definitely is some kind of connection, I think, with the teams we've seen the last 3 weeks, that Voss wants to find the stoppage clearance game from last year, but not lose the turnover game that he had this year. So he knows the turnover game last year was diabolical. So he doesn't want to tinker with that, but he's just trying to find that happy medium. So it's very interesting. I mean, I wouldn't have had Kemp. I was a bit like you. I thought if you were going to kill a defender, do you kill Boyd, put Cincotta there, and then Cincotta defends to allow another player to overlap? But it's going to be interesting because, I mean, does that mean Lewis Young's coming in? Does that mean Durden's coming in?
I think if Boyd's not going out, that tells me that McGovern's still not ready. Because
unless McGovern comes in for Kemp, and then that kind of makes sense that Voss is going to go for a traditional two-toe system with one interceptor. Interesting.
I'm fascinated.
I would have thought, though, by now we would have heard Govs playing.
What, you don't think they'll just surprise us just to give us the shock factor? I'd be surprised if he played. Got a 5-day break coming up.
I reckon Paul knows more than he's let on, because he was adamant Cooper Lord's making a debut. And our great
Paul
friend
said Cooper Lord's making a debut.
No, he made him have a debut on our team show last night.
Oh, right.
And if you believe Leckdog and Leckdog's spiracy, Leckdog is adamant that whoever Carlton push in the media on a Wednesday is in the team, and it was Cooper Lord.
Wow.
That's a Leck-spiracy. And I've got to say, unfortunately, the Leck-spiracy often comes in.
I miss that. I miss Leck.
I miss Leck too.
I miss
you
Leck.
Know what? I mean, he's got engaged. He's gone back. He's gone to the UK. I mean, he's forgotten his best mate here, Pom. Just like I'm sat here all biscuit arsed. Like my evenings look like the end of the fucking Incredible Hulk TV series. I'm just trying to thumb a lift down the road.
Oh, dear me. It's tough, mate. It's tough, but we are minutes. We are minutes away from a final team. Sorry, we are minutes away from an extended team.
Richard, his rap. Have you ever seen his rap?
I have seen his rap. Should we get it up?
Legit. Honestly, chat, if you haven't seen the Leckdog rap, it's probably the best cinematic on YouTube ever.
It's on Alexi Does.
You know what? I love.
Is this the Charlie Kuno rap, or am I on a different channel?
No. It's better than that. Oh, has Terry not seen it?
I don't know if I've seen it. Nothing on the news. We're just waiting.
Let me find it. I've got it in my saves.
4 changes this week. Okay. Hey, while you do that, let's hear from our favorite people on the team show, that is, at Mr. Cabinets. Guys, welcome to Mr. Cabinets. This is a 3rd-generation family-owned business designing and building Melbourne's most dynamic kitchens and cabinetry. From planning to installation, Mr. Cabinets employs the latest 3D software to create your ideal kitchen or cabinet space. They've got a 2,000 square metre production facility that caters to any size home, multi-level apartment complex and major development. If you'd like to see your dream kitchen before it's even built, visit Mr. Cabinet's showroom at 172 Settlement Road, Thomastown. All right. No, I need that link.
Oh, yeah.
Put it in the chat and I'll just... when we get our teams out after the teams.
Mate, I'm telling you, honestly, this, like, be prepared to be in the realization you will never make anything better than this. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
You will never make anything better. This isn't good. This is fucking another level.
Okay. All right. I can't wait. Oh, it's unlisted. That's why. It's the extended squad, so not final. So calm down, 5%. Aiden, love your work, mate. Love your work. It's true. We are literally. Why hasn't anyone told me the teams yet? Have they not said it?
No, because we're Sunday, so when they reveal it earlier, they don't tell it. But
We're not on Broadway. No one gives a shit about us. It's great.
but I'm telling you, if you're miserable after the teams, watch Let Dogs video. You'll be all right.
Yeah. I've got something as well. I've got a video coming out straight after the teams. I went down the rabbit hole. Have you ever wondered, Pommy, why we're called the Blue Baggers or the Baggers?
Keeps me awake at night.
Well, that was really good. I went down the rabbit hole and I found out exactly where the reference began. I also found other nicknames that we would refer to as, including the Cockatoos.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine?
Thanks, powers that be.
Oh, God.
Thanks.
Yeah. It would have been CA for sure.
Can you imagine?
Cox abroad for sure.
Cox abroad. Teams
Guaranteed.
are out, Terry.
All right. Stand by. Let me grab them.
It's magic.
This is big. This is big. Never believe it's not so. It's magic. Teams are out. Where are you seeing them? Oh, on AFL?
Yeah. Yeah.
I usually just rely on the Carlton website.
Sorry, Terry.
I'm not looking at the chat because I haven't seen the teams yet. So I'm going to react live.
Terry, do you want me to just tell you the teams?
No, don't tell me. I want to see them for the shock value.
Okay. It's not bad.
Paul said that eyebrows would be raised. Okay.
Well, you probably would have done if Paul hadn't come in here 20 minutes ago and said Kemp's been sacked.
Yeah.
He's kind of ruined the eyebrow moment. But
he has a knack of doing that.
Fucking
I was expecting like 4 changes. Like, oh my God. So Kemp has been omitted. Zach Williams is injured. Eyebrows through the roof at the moment. Just can't even, my eyeballs can't say anything. Interestingly, though, Motlop, Hewitt, Cunningham, Carroll, and Durden are named as in.
Oh, no.
Motlop on the field.
What's doing?
Yeah, I know. Not that it matters that he's named on the field. But generally, when we see that, we know that they're definitely going to be in, right?
Yeah, so so literally, just to explain the AFL listing laws on an extended team, anyone there can be named in any order.
Gotcha.
So, in the unlikely event, there is how many on that extended bench? 8? The first 8 names could be omitted from back to front if they wanted to. It's only happened 3 times this year, though, that those who were starting on the 18 across all teams haven't played. 2 of them were late injuries, and 1 was just a random omission.
Right.
So genuinely speaking, they're the first 18 will play.
Yeah. Damien, good call. The club post features Motlop in it.
Yeah.
So I think also the fact that he's named here says he's going to play. Chincotta named in the back pocket. Interesting.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Back again.
Pom Cotter's back. Hey, Pom Cotter's back just in time to do battle with Eddie Ford.
Who? No, honestly, who will he go to?
Well, if he plays in the back line, you'd imagine
Sheasel? No.
If he plays in the back line, Paul Curtis. If Voss has this idea to tag a halfback flanker, maybe Sheasel.
Okay.
Let's hope
Some other Some other interesting bits here. Again, knowing that just because they're named here on the field on Thursday doesn't mean anything. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But Kennedy named half forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you just see the first 4 names
But I
being
mean,
the team?
the way I see it, it's Jack Carroll. Why? The argument over the last 2 weeks is there's too many mids, and Jack Carroll's not a specialist in anything. So I'd say at the moment we have too many people who don't have a defined role. Sam Durden, that's coverage for Caleb Marchbank, innit? And Mark Pettinet being the last one named means it's protection for TDK. So I would guess Cunners to return as sub or maybe Cottrell.
Yeah. I literally, the way I read it, it's like that would be it right there.
Which the logic would make sense because North Melbourne made something about Jaden Stevenson was knocking down the door in their pre-game thing on their website. So you maybe would say theirs is interesting because doing my research, I have a little spreadsheet. The second player on the bench of North Melbourne is generally the sub. So Liam Shields, who has been sub a couple of times this year. So Jaden Stevenson, Dylan Stevenson, Griffin Logue, Marnie, where are you? We won't bring Griffin back. Where are you? You built us up, Marnie. You fucking swept it away, didn't you, last minute?
Damien says that a few more details in the Carlton write-up. So I'm going to read it out. Carlton has named its extended squad of 26. There are 5 inclusions, with the Blues to cut their squad of 26 to the team of 23 on Friday night. The Blues have confirmed that George Hewitt and Jesse Motlop will both return to the AFL lineup after strong performances. Hewitt was one of the Blues' best, recording 34 disposals, 23 contested possessions, while Motlop will play his long-awaited first game of the season after toe and hamstring injuries delayed the young forward start. After strong performances for the Carlton reserves last weekend, Jack Carroll, Dave Cunningham and Sam Durden round out the inclusions. Coming out of the squad are Zach Williams and Brody Kemp, who's been omitted. Adam Cherry will play his 50th game for the Blues after making his way to Icon Park at the end of 2021.
Yeah, and some interesting news for them as well. Z-Fish back.
Who?
Z-Fish.
Who's that?
Z-Fish.
Zach Fisher. I feel like I know who that is.
Never heard of him. But nice to see Jaden Stevenson, good Ferntree Gully boy. Good, honest Ferntree Gully boy. Griffin Logue, Will Phillips, the tagger. And a guy that looks like he could be the Republican candidate of 2028, Robert Hanson Jr. Doesn't that sound like a real American right-wing, like a Christian conservative type name, doesn't it?
Robert Hanson Jr. Almost as conservative as what's Logan, the one from Footy Abroad in the chat? LGR? No.
Logan Robert Smith?
Yeah. Something like that. But look, nonetheless, Curtis Taylor, Callan Dawson omitted, Zach Fisher, Stevenson, Griffin Logue, Will Phillips, Hanson Jr. Who do we expect to come in?
Who for?
For North. I mean,
if I was betting man, so you've got Comden, Core. Would you put Toby Pink in? I'd imagine Griffin Logue is in with that backline. It's Griffin Logue or Toby Pink because that is very undersized to play Carlton's 2 bigs. Like Aidan Cole's more of a Mitch McGovern type defender that he can defend, but he likes. Will Phillips, will he come in? I could see it because obviously the Sam Walsh issue. Dylan Stevens gives them that nice little coverage. I think Jaden Stevenson will play because I think that's another area of concern for Carlton. I think teams do highlight that early part of our 50 as a weak area. People attack it. So Jaden Stevenson likes that area. So, yeah, I could see Liam Shields being the sub and it just being the next 4. So it'd be a choice between Tom Powell. Do they go a little bit more physicality or do they want a pure tagger?
they've got. Is Brent Teakle playing? No.
Nah. Oh yeah,
Yeah, he
yes,
is.
centre half forward.
Yeah, Marnie was saying that Sherry rucks 90% of the time, and Brent Teakle does the back upping.
Yeah, it's like eight a game, 8 to 12 a game. It's not much.
Right. Hey, Adam, welcome to Blue Abroad YouTube membership. Thank you.
Big ads, the ad dog in the house.
Yeah, doggedy. So I posed the question: do you play Tom on his own with Harry backing up and just let him go head to head with Sherry? Or do you have Pitto in there because Sherry's a bit of one of those big combative rucks?
Yeah, I mean, the most overrated thing in AFL is ruck stats. Like, as a man who likes stats, if they're not linked, it's irrelevant. So if you look at the centre clearance and the stoppages and mirror them up with Jerry, he wins his fair share, but they do fuck all with it. So, like, what? And my counter argument to it is, okay, Pitnet could probably eat the same amount of hot dogs as Tristan Zeri, right? But is he gonna? Is he like? What's he gonna do around the ground? TDK is gonna hit around the ground. So, like, for me, if you said to me, what's more important with a ruckman? Is it winning hitouts or is it work right around the ground? 20 years ago, I would have said hitouts. In today's game, it's your work around the ground becoming that extra, either a defender if you're a Max Gorn. I think Max Gorn's best work is the stuff he does behind the ball, not just his ruck work.
Yeah.
I think TDK for me is this, and pinch it whoever you want, because no disrespect to Bryn Tinkle, he's like a big midfielder, like in the ruck. It's like playing Kennedy in there. So, like, if Carlton are looking and going, oh, fucking hell, Bryn Tinkle, oh no, I'd be worried.
I am really warming to this as the sub, Dave Cunningham as a sub. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised to see Cottrell being sub, to be honest.
You think?
Well, Voss doesn't like returning players as sub, does he?
True.
Because we all thought Cottrell, when he was named the other week, would start as sub, and he started full-time. I could see Cunners starting full-time sub. Full-time, and Cottrell being the sub.
And Cottrell was a sub. Cottrell's not a bad sub to have.
Well, I mean, hopefully we're not far away from just having 5 men benches, because this sub thing is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. But also, I don't know if you remember, but Cunners, do you remember Cunningham against North Melbourne? When was it? It was in the wet.
You're the best around.
2020? Maybe 2021? Maybe even 2019? Does anyone?
You know, this is what fucking scares me, yeah? Right, when everyone goes Marchbank, don't sleep on him. And then they say, don't sleep on Cunners. And when you say, give me a good game he played, they are literally, like, look, like Britney Spears had her Instagram unlocked the last time Cunners had a good game. That's how long it was. All right.
True.
Like, make it stop. But no, I do remember it well, Terry. Are you on about the one that was, I think it was 2021, where he kicked 2 goals?
He kicked a goal in the wet late from 50. We played awful. It was a wet day, just a gross day. And we ended up just pulling away by maybe 6 or 7 points. Yeah.
You know what? The game no one ever talks about. If you seem we're having a FAP Cunners session, the game no one talks about. Let me take you on a journey. 2020.
Okay.
A couple of games before that. Do you remember the Essendon game when he had 28 touches?
I do remember it. I do actually
3
remember
Brownlow
it.
votes, chat.
He
3 Brownlow votes for that game.
Played in midfield that day.
Mate, playing almost like a pseudo Erlazio Fantasia role.
Yeah.
Yeah, in and around stoppage, overlapping his midfield, getting in half forward. If you want to get me excited, that's the Cunners that excites me. Not there. He scrub kicked a ball in the pissing wet. Like,
yeah, the legacy game 2020. Do you remember?
How bad is that? We've actually got excited about Cunners Do you know what I mean? Were
I
we
got a
even
bet.
doing shows in 2020?
We were.
Yeah, we
well,
were.
let's go back to it. No, I want to go. When did they do the live stream? The bubble, like the big bubble of a live
Oh, where
stream.
we sat and watched a fucking empty chair.
Empty chair for 28 minutes to announce that Cunners had signed a 3-year deal. Do you remember that?
Unfortunately. Unfortunately, Terry, I remember it well.
Does anybody else remember that? Does anyone else in the chat remember sitting and watching the? I watched it on Facebook. I'm pretty sure it was.
You know what would really entertain me is
What?
I've never done this exercise, and I don't want to do it on a live with you because it's harsh. But it would be
Okay.
so good to go through Terry's 2020 player previews with Cunningham and Marchbank and see how many times since 2019, right? Terry has said these words. Funny, you can stay fit. It'd be
David,
good.
I don't know if I did a player preview for Dave Cunningham. Yes, I did. Do I really want to watch this again?
You did one on Cam Polson and you proper done him dirty because the only one of the team you've done a preview who isn't in an AFL Guernsey is Cam Polson. You've absolutely done him a mischief.
I've got it here. Should we watch it? Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Let's do it. Who's Shannon Humphreys? Who's this? Who's going on here? Chill out.
Oh, Shannon Humphreys. He's a good mate, actually, and very active in chat on Studs's Twitter and stuff like that. So shout out to Shannon.
You know Shannon? Shannon just
No,
winding.
I've got a clue. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most people who talk to me like that end up with trying to work out how your jaw closes again. So
Anyway.
he's obviously not someone, but I'm going through these videos, Terry. Tell you what, Terry's just chat. Pay a bit of respect to Terry. He churned out some fucking content back in the day. Oh, look, there's Pom. Bit of analytics corner for you when you all used to hate stats.
Next, and I think frustration is the word that comes to mind when it comes to Dave Cunningham. And again, not to any fault of his own, but it's just his body. You know, we get.
Oh, 12 seconds in. What did I say? 12 seconds in. 12 seconds in. Didn't even need to watch it. Predicted it.
Fucking hell. I don't need to see any more of that.
Terry, this has fucking aged you, kid, mate.
I know.
We get
Look
9
at him.
games out of him in 2019. He averages.
Listen
We
to the
get it.
spring in
Yeah.
Terry's voice as well. The pep, it's still there. The hope. It's the hope that kills you doing this gig.
It is. You know what that
You know
was
what I'm
too?
trying to find? Because we used
What's
to do
that?
the reviews of the game.
Yeah.
Let's see how excited we got about Connors' goal. I guarantee there's me saying, telling you, Terry, he could be Papley.
So what, like 2020 fan camps?
No, I reckon it would have been player ratings. Did we do that together in them days?
Yep.
Oh, no, we didn't. It was just you. Hey, you didn't. Hey, look.
No,
Didn't always
these
have
were threaded. These were actually very much threaded. These were freshly threaded. I was taking a little bit too much off them, a little bit too much girth.
What See what I have to deal with, chat.
Yeah.
What was it? It was round 8, wasn't it?
Round 8, 2020. Yeah, that video of kind of is just there. So that would have been start of
2020.
End of 2019 going into 2020. That would have been full of hope. Come back to Australia. I was living at my parents' place then. That was the spare room. That's now where my brother makes all his music. And just that was going to be the first full year YouTube. And then lockdown hit. And then the aging happened.
Oh, fucking hell. Vintage Pom here.
What do you got?
Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Wearing a collarless shirt. What a fucking human. I'm having you know what? Genuinely, chat. I'm letting you down here because we didn't do our content was shit in 2020. Congratulations, anyone who stayed around here. Absolute bobbins work from us. We did nothing, Terry.
Did we not do
didn't.
fan cams in round 8?
No, we did. We did fan cams. Oh wait. Oh wait. Oh, Terry. Oh. Terry, look at this fucker.
We did. Show me.
All right, calm down. Jesus.
With the Blue Abroad boys. Everyone's a Blue Abroad boy. Wow. Let's just get straight to you, mate. Slicked hair, Diego Simeone vibes about you. You got a $1,000 cologne on, $1,000 shirt on. Look at you, my friend.
Just ready for finals, mate.
Look at you. Finals. You look like a man who now understands, hey, we're going to take this to the next level because we are a winning football club.
Oh, mate, yeah, it's all about how you look now, isn't it?
I'm a big fan. I've got a lot of time for it, mate. A lot of time for it. Yeah, as I said, this is the round 8 recap. We're going to go through all the themes and all the issues. A lot of talking points this week. A lot of emotion this week, which is good to see. But as we said last week, we wanted to sit here and be talking about a 4-4 performance. A few thank yous, obviously. The show doesn't go ahead. Finals. Quite a few Chad from Assertive Media. He's the man that we're looking at the moment. Chad Daddy over there, back there, doing his thing. He runs a company called Assertive Media. And he can help you and your business come to life with video production needs and things like that. So be sure to...
Yeah, that's enough of that. I can't deal.
Shout out Shad Daddy with the studio. Yeah.
Ready for finals?
I'd like to think I've lost a lot of weight since then.
Mate, you still look good, man. Yeah,
you had a period where you were like super lean.
Thanks, Terry. For those in chat, I've always wanted to call me a fat cunt. That is how you do it. Like, that is how you do it. Absolute masterclass. Like an absolute masterclass from Terry there. Fucking hell. Yes, I was, Terry. I did the reverse of you. Like, I lost my weight during COVID.
Mate.
And then it was after.
I probably got to like 120 kilos in COVID.
Mate, it was good. And you know what? Back to what I was going to say. Them posters behind Terry. It used to take Terry fucking ages to get them synced.
Yep. Do you know, I've got one of them still here. It's the Crips.
Fucking, tell you what, come on here to help your mate out. Fucking,
yeah.
You used to not be fat.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
That's not what I said. I remember a time you got like too skinny. It was a bit too much. There was nothing to you, you know?
Hell, just got left hooked on alive.
I'm just being like my grandmother when she tells me that I'm too skinny.
It's all right. I love you. I love you, Terry. Fucking hell.
Hey, Pies Footy, appreciate the $8 donation. Thanks for the consult. No worries.
We love you, Pies.
Love a bit of Pies Footy.
Oh, Jesus, what?
Rowan, I promise you I was 120. A lot of those videos in 2020, that's me at my fucking worst, man. Seriously. My worst. And then I reckon back end of last year blew out a bit as well. Yep.
Mate, it was good times, eh? Going to Shad Daddies.
Shad Daddies. COVID didn't affect us. Well, you know what? COVID is what made this channel. I'd like to believe. I think silver lining of COVID was that's where the real magic began, because we were dead. We had our lives were so affected, but we had 2 hours to forget about the lockdowns for a bit with fan cams.
It was good, wasn't it? It was good times, mate. I tell you, they were vintage times.
Can I just say, Slobbo's become a quick favorite in the live chat.
I've got to say, yeah. Do you know what I mean? He's in the old classics of people in chat. He's usually, when you see an account with a fake name, you're like, oh no, but he's good mental energy, is Slobbo. I don't know who the real Slobbo is, but whoever you are, just know you're appreciated, my friend.
Yeah, I want to agree with that. When I first started seeing you, Slobbo, I thought, oh, some kid that's just going to like trolling us and giving us issues. You actually make me laugh sometimes, so I do appreciate the humor. Jamie,
Part of me
I'm sick
believes
of
it's the
you.
real one.
Yeah. I remember your FIFA streams. Yeah. Stocker.
Interesting. I think all of them have been delisted or traded.
Stocker, Sam Ramsey, and Fish.
Where are they now? Not here.
Still remember Fish beat me on the fucking buzzer in like the dying minutes.
Wasn't Sam Ramsey like really good at it?
Sam Ramsey was good. Stocker was all right. Fish. I wanted actually, you know what?
Like from memory, I remember watching them, and like one of them literally like did a skill move just straight from kickoff, and I was watching it going, I've been here before. You know this guy can play the game.
Oh God.
Josh makes a great point. That whole story arc last year when them kids were trying to get their dick on the fan cams was my favourite story arc in BA history.
Yeah, it was. There were two kids. One tried to literally just get his balls out. This was like early fan games. We had a racism kid as well, and he apologized. Bless him. Good on him. I'm hoping he's doing well. And then we had, what is it with people? Like, I'm all about the internet. I understand trolling. I understand the game and grew up on the internet. I get it. But like, you really want to get your balls out like on YouTube? Like you're on camera.
Terry, I'm an old man now. Like, do you know what I mean? Fucking times have changed, and I can't even comprehend what goes through. Like, I know I was stupid when I was younger, but do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I'd do anything for banter, but fuck me, there was some weird. I remember them DMs you used to get as well. Like, they actually used to be proud of themselves that one day they were going to get their dick out. It was like a real game for them. Like, one of us will get our willy out on the fan cams. Yes.
I gotta say, anyone that wants to start doing fan cams, like if you're doing another team or whatnot, just know that I walked so you could run.
They were good, honestly. They were good. They were really good. I never forget when Shad used to. So Shad, God bless him, he used to like admin what you guys now go into that we monitor ourselves. And like I always used to admit it as well, but I never forget some of them names he let through, like cultural, historical figures. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember there was one guy called Benito Mussolini, and like he hadn't registered, and I'm like, that's a fake.
Yeah. That's it. Oh, hey, do you want to laugh? Look at this. Look at the thumbnail.
Is there anything better than the strong jawline of Terry?
It's awful. It's here somewhere. So I reckon I'm up 2-1. Hang on.
Ah, yeah, because you chose Man City.
Yeah, he went Real Madrid. I went City, I think. Yeah, let's watch the end.
No.
Yeah, this is Zach with the ball.
Modric.
Oh, I've seen this before. Oh,
That was a bit underrated, I reckon.
yeah.
Corner played into the middle. And he shoots from long range. And he's dealt with
How's the clearing kick? He's shitting himself. I am.
Come on, City.
Toni Kroos. Benzema.
No, don't concede.
Oh, that's a goal.
Oh my God, he's kidding. You're kidding me. Oh,
Tell you what, that was an L1 triangle if ever you've seen one.
No. Oh, you are joking.
That's filth. Still filthy at
Benzema
that.
was crap though on FIFA 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. It was wild.
It was good. We had so much fun in that COVID thing. Do you know what I mean? Who was it? Was it Bit of Footy when we took out the AFL title as well?
Who, you and I?
No, I represented Blue Abroad in Bit of Footy's AFL. That was COVID.
Oh, yeah.
That was live streamed.
Do you know what? One day we're going to react. You know what? Those of you who are watching, who was here when Pommy and I played AFL Evolution against Kados and Cookson? Who was here for that happening? Because I think that's one of the most underrated pieces of live content we've done, even though we lost. See, it's the losses that make you. It's the losses that you never forget.
It's the losses that humble you.
Correct. I never forget that loss to Zach Fisher. Alex was there. Anthony was there. We need a rematch.
Daylight robbery as well, I've got to say.
We should watch it again. Maybe not tonight, but like another time.
It's daylight robbery. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, just not going up for the marking contest and just spoil. Boring.
It was just hack, triangle, tackle.
Yeah, I mean, it was quality. I remember Terry doing the streams of AFL.
Yeah. I think I did a My Player with Liam Stocker for a little while.
Yeah, I remember you doing it. I remember. I missed the gaming days. That was good.
That was good.
Gokken. I reckon that would be sick.
True.
It'd probably be the end of my career though if I did it, because I'm not nice when I play anything that involves winning.
Well, Caden did reach out a while back and asked to put together a Blue Abroad team. I think it was for like a mini footy team, maybe 6 or 8 people per team, and it was played within the 50-meter arc.
Yeah, I've seen him do them videos. They're good.
Yeah. He asked us to put a team together. I didn't want to be honest. I just didn't feel comfortable playing footy on camera. Again, and I wasn't training. I wasn't fit. I didn't. Yeah, I knew I was going to get injured, and so I sort of like said no. But it's a great idea. I think it was just out of lockdown.
It would excuse to get fit, Terry.
True. I'm much fitter now. I could do it now. I could play now. I could definitely play a game within the 50-meter arc and be ready for it. I think this was like peak 120 kilos.
Mate, let's do it. Let's get fit and let's see who I can sling tackle.
Let's do a preseason. Well, we are doing a preseason.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, how good would that be? How good would that be to see?
Yeah, we get a crowd.
Mate, honestly. And plus, your game's stupid. You're allowed to punch someone in the chest.
Yeah, true.
That's quality. Can't do that in my game. You get sent off. Like,
True.
Wish we had that loophole when I was playing as a kid.
Yeah. Hey, Richard Di Gregorio. Kemp omitted. Not sure about it. Why 2 rucks again? Motlop and Hewitt straight in, though. Well, don't know if it's going to be 2 rucks just yet. Pitto's the last named player on the bench. So tomorrow we're going to find out what the final team is. Teams will come out at 5 p.m. I'm going to go live at 4 p.m. if anybody wants to come and hang out. But we'll find out.
Oh, Terry. Pom versus Jake.
Terry versus Swoop and Pom versus Jake for 12 rounds. Me and Swoop, it wouldn't be fair.
No, but remember it's weight limit. Like, before anyone clips this, caveat, this isn't an insult. So if you clip this, right, honestly, you admit that you drive an Audi, right? Right? This is what I'm going to say. It's a weight limit, not a height limit. So
Okay.
as long as you and Swoop, I'd say Swoop would weigh what you do because he's quite hench, isn't he?
He won't weigh
You
what
see
I weigh.
Swoop, he's like a meatball.
I
He
wouldn't
just
want
lots
to.
of height. So I'd imagine, even though there's a height disparity, you've got the reach advantage. I reckon he would weigh roughly the same as you.
Okay, I disagree.
He's
But-
quite built, Swoop.
Yeah, but like I'm 6'2", and I'm a thick boy, you know.
Yeah, but like honestly, Swoop loves the bench press. I'm not saying you're not. How are you getting offended by what am I saying? Like, I've had to skirt round the fucking height difference here, and you're getting upset that I reckon he's got a few kegs on you. Like,
I just think give me a different opponent, like, you know.
I'd take legit. I think Jake would be quality if you want to give me Jake. Like, I think Frankie's done me a solid there. Jake, we're about the same height, aren't we? Me and Jake.
Do you watch Power Slap? Maybe we could do that.
Yeah, I've got issues where I can't sleep as well, Terry. Yeah, I'm there with you.
Hey, what's your guilty pleasure on YouTube?
I probably can't say it because I'll get cancelled.
Probably.
Okay. Well, I like political things. I'll be honest. I like political things. So I'm fascinated by watching things like Candice Owens, Ben Shapiro, John Peterson, and then like the radical left. Like, that's how I learn. I need to learn in extremes. So I love learning what their views, and that helps me stay central. So I love watching anything to do with political agenda and social agenda. It's real boring, my YouTube watch list. It's not entertainment. I just am fascinated by that kind of stuff. And the more left field, the better, because I don't get offended. I like to understand why someone has that belief so I can better equip myself in my day-to-day life. So no, I'm fascinated by that shit.
Fair. I had a probably 2 to 3 year period where I would watch like Tim the Tatman, Nick Merckx, just play Call of Duty. I just loved it. Even Testy. And now I go in and out. Right now I'm heavily into UFC, just UFC highlights, fights. I just love it. Love the art. Love all of it.
Mate, my if I'm watching YouTube to switch off, it's shit. So this sounds sad. I like Minecraft videos.
Oh.
So I'm a big Minecraft guy. That's because of my kids, but I enjoy watching people build stuff. It helps me switch off. My mind is always on the go, so I need something that is dumb and stupid.
My mind is telling me no.
Yeah, I do sport though. I'm like you. I love combat sports. I think that's the most purest thing. So like when we were kids, me and my brothers, we all had to box. That was like the first thing we did as a sport growing up. Because like my granddad used to say, I don't want you being tattletales. Only cowards tell the teacher. So like that was how we learned. It was like, and obviously being brothers, what happened? We'd go to our boxing session. 2 minutes later, you come home, your brother wants to be the fucking Mario in Mario Kart, so you give him the right, left, and he descends into full-blown chaos.
Oh, dear. All right.
Tyler,
well,
I never said she was left. I said I like to watch both extremes, right and the extreme left. So please, if you're going to quote me, I only use simple language on
like
here.
that?
I don't try and use too complex.
Who talks like that? Anyway, listen, at 7 p.m. in 60 seconds, the video about how Carlton became known to be the Baggers and the Blue Baggers is dropping on the channel. So stick around if you want to watch that. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Pommy, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here.
Peace, love, light.
See you tomorrow.